I'm going to cover the second section of the book, which is called The Central Flame. And of course, the central flame is love. In this section, Ernest talks about science and religion, and he spends more than 2 chapters going into great detail about spiritual mind treatment. Then he closes with the history of the New Thought movement and gives information about his own life story that led him to develop religious science. So starting with religion and science, Ernest tells the story of a hen sitting on eggs in a way that ensures they will hatch. The hen is simply responding to an instinctive urge or a universal intelligence. However, as people, we have evolved to the point where we're actually able to not only deny our good, but not even believe that it's available to us. We think that we're not good enough, not enlightened enough. He covers the various ways that science and religion meet. For example, he talks about psychoanalysis, and he also talks about psychosomatic diseases. And he thinks that both of those things are the result, or the need for them is the result of the conflict between the creative and emotional part of us and our intellect. And he also talks about the growing recognition of the importance of faith and healing. But the best example of religion and science working together is in the practice of spiritual mind treatment. And that is a scientific activity that is repeatable, demonstrable, and which manifests a response like any other scientific activity by a principle, rather than by fate or the will of some sort of whimsical God. Yet, even though it is a scientific process, it's done by people. So because of that, we're not separate from the experience that we're having if we're the person giving the treatment. He then goes on to talk in depth about spiritual mind treatment, but I think most of what he says can be summed up this way. When we treat, we do not wish, we know. We do not dream, we state. We do not hope, we accept. We do not pray, we announce. We do not expect something is going to happen. We believe that it has already happened. He also reminds us that spiritual mind treatment can't be done by intellect alone. It needs belief. You have to believe in what you're saying. And also, it needs to be joined with feeling. Because the creative power responds to feeling more quickly than to any other mental attitude. We're all able to perform spiritual mind treatments. I have done a couple of treatments. I've had a couple done for me. And they actually do manifest. They don't always manifest in the way you think they're going to, but they do manifest. Also, a treatment is also about the consciousness of the one who's giving the treatment. So if I'm giving a treatment, I have to first see divine perfection of myself. And since my mind is functioning in the universal mind, the treatment will manifest to the patient to the degree that they are receptive. So I believe it for me, and I also believe it for them. When you give a spiritual mind treatment also, you're actually treating everyone, because we're all one. So you might be treating me for abundance, or in my highest and best, but so, for example, if you want more peace in the world, treat the experience of peace in yourself. Finally, Ernest talks about the origins of New Thought, and he very humbly details how he came to it and developed religious science. And just to sum that up, to quote him, he says, "Now, what do we teach? It's very simple. God is all there is. We have to have the same faith in what we teach and preach and practice that science has, or the gardener has. I think we should feel as though we're on a mission, not to save souls, but a mission that glorifies the soul. The glorification, the beauty, the wonder, the delight of that something that sings and sings in the soul of man." And that is the second section of Essential Ernest.